Hey everybody, Jacob here. Today we're talking about offering benefits in your lawn and landscape company, or you know what, screw that, any company. If you're trying to grow your company, you should be talking about benefits. And we're gonna go over what we offer in our company, how you can start out, like all these different things in this video. This is gonna be a video that's going to get your gears turning. If that sounds like something that is gonna be of help to you, make sure you like this, subscribe, share this with somebody else that's growing their company. Maybe you've heard them talking about how they've had a hard time with employees. They can't keep employees. Maybe it's because another company's in town that's offering a bunch of benefits, that's giving more opportunity, and this could be the right video to show them, hey, there's some things I can do. And I'm gonna do these in the order, and there's a million more, but I'm gonna do these in the order of where I started out and then end up where we are now. And I'm gonna roll through that order, and then we're gonna talk about this stuff as we go. So let's get right into this. Benefits are anything that's good for your employee, obviously. So a benefit can be something as simple as a holiday. From day one, that was like the first thing we ever did. We paid for holidays, you know, and it seems simple and you don't think of it like that. But like I see so many lawn and landscape companies, I see so many companies in general out working on the 4th of July, out working on Memorial Day, out working on Labor Day. And if you can give people holidays off, it doesn't have to be every single one. Like typically we do the general big holidays that if a company offers holidays, they give them off. We don't typically do like bankers holidays is what I call them, that, you know, banks are off way more than the other companies out there. That's a super stereotypical thing, but it's true, right? So holidays, you can start with that. And it's gonna seem painful at first. I remember when I first started paying people to not be there, and it was scary, you know, and if an employee is watching this, they're like, how? You're the business owner, you make all this money. Well, it was scary as fuck because I had no money, and people made more money than me when I started my business. And if they worked overtime, they were for sure making more money than me. And you know, I didn't get paid for holidays. And so it was scary, right? But so even though you have all that mind trash, head trash in your mind, it's something that you can start off with, and it's something that adds benefit to your employees, that shows them you care. And I know that you can't start off doing a million freaking things at once and make it all make sense. So you can at least start there. Now from there, we work to time off. You know, I think at first it was like a couple sick days. Give everybody a couple sick days throughout the year, and then that just started evolving. You know, that evolved to, hey man, wow, we've got our first full year employee. Let's do, I modeled the business I worked for before. After a year, we give you a week's vacation. Okay, and then that went into more, you know, that get into some more sick days and some more personal days. And then we're like, holy cow, we got people that have worked here for 5 years. So then we thought of a cool transition, you know, as management meetings and kind of like executive meetings went in the company, where we talked about how do we structure this to give more than just a week off. And then we decided, you know, you get a week off here, and then next 2.5 years, like all the way it ticks up. So there's, I think it's 1, 3, and 5. At 3, you get a week and a half, and at 5 you get 2 weeks. So we started thinking of all these cool transitions the business could make, and these little benefits along the way of how we could tick up and offer more and more and more. What are the other benefits you can have in that company, and how do you just keep adding them on a little bit? And so all of these, they don't constantly hit you monthly. They don't constantly hit you weekly. And that's what makes these a little bit easier to kind of start off with these, and a little bit easier to wrap your mind around these. Because I know all of this is scary, especially when you're afraid of like, how much money am I gonna make? How much money am I gonna have left over? Am I gonna even have enough to pay this? I know that's what business owners always typically think. And the reality of it is when you start doing stuff like this, and I should have done more faster, if that's any help to you. But when you start doing stuff like this, you really start realizing like, I'm retaining better people, people appreciate these things. And even if I pay more, I'm getting better results. Or kind of like if you pay employees more and you get higher quality employees, you'll typically get more work done than if you have like really, you're trying to pay everybody minimum wage to do a similar task, and you get super, the people that will accept that to do this task are never gonna be able to produce at the rate that these guys that are getting paid more money, right? So there's all these little things. From there, another cool transition that this is like really no cost to you. But so if you have a company and you have payroll, Aflac, a program like Aflac or Liberty Mutual, they have life insurance programs and different things. And I'm sure there's a million other people pushing these employer-based but employee benefits. And they're, like Aflac, you have to work for a company that has Aflac to get Aflac. I believe that there's actually some Aflac that like an individual can get, but to get like the company plans, you have to be working for a company that's even going to offer that in the first place. So they're very, very low cost and employees pay for them. They might be like $8 a week to an employee, and it gets them special benefits, certain benefits that a lot of our teams paid in on. I would say about 50% of our team has some form of Aflac. Same with the Liberty Mutual, some of the life insurance plans, some of the other things. Very small pieces out of a person's paycheck, and all of a sudden they've got all these employee-funded benefits, and they're not that expensive to them, and because they work for you, they're able to draw that right off of their check, and that's able to go right to that benefit. And some people would say, well, that's not a benefit. They go out and buy their own thing. They're structured where it's better, and it's a better program than they could get if they were just going to go buy it on their own when they're getting it from the company group plan. That's another thing. There's also like on our, when we started offering insurance, which is going to be the next thing we get into, there's also like dental and eye. Everywhere I ever worked for, you had to pay for your dental and eye. It was super cheap. It was $8 or $10 a week. That's another thing through a company like Principal that you could get started up, and you could have some kind of dental and vision. And it's still maybe another thing that you can either pay for it yourself before you have insurance, or employees could pay that. It could be another part of their paycheck. And this is all, like, I keep saying things that employees are paying for, but like this is all just trying to build in the right direction, right? Like, I know it's challenging. Where am I going to get the money to pay for all this stuff? How am I going to be able to make it make sense? How am I going to be able to afford it? How am I going to be able to keep going when I keep adding more and more costs? So it's not about doing all this stuff at once. It's about, okay, I added this piece. Okay, cool. Maybe I pay more now. I change these things. I make it better and better and better, right? As you move forward. So the next thing we did is we started offering insurance. This was a really, really slow start. We started off with like a Blue Cross Blue Shield. We ended up with a very creative level insurance across our whole company because we have a really, really healthy company, and it saved us a good amount of money, and it was able to allow us to start paying 50% of everybody's health insurance. So that's something that if you're deemed a full-time employee at our business, like we started offering that. And then, you know, you can just keep ticking this up, right? Like you could start paying like, I think like 30%, and then you can keep as things get better. Maybe there's a cost savings on a certain product, you're maybe able to pay more. And you just keep trying to stack up these benefits. So this is the progression that this has taken in our company, and not saying that you have to follow this, but this is the way it worked for us. And then these were some of the easier things that were along the way. Now this finally rolls into the thing that I have been more passionate about, that this is something that should be at the beginning of the list for everyone and not at the end of the list like it was for me, and that was starting up a 401k. So I'm super, super passionate, whether it's you who's watching or my employees, about creating a future for themselves. And unfortunately, not enough people are educated about money and knowing that they need to invest. And I don't personally think a 401k is the best investing tool out there, but it's better than not having any investment tool in place. And so if you first start off a 401k, if you were going to offer this to your team, you don't even have to match a 401k. Yeah, you're going to have some company fees of getting this set up and management, but you don't even have to do a match. So you could start out without a match, and then you can move to a match down the road. And we'll get into that in just a second. But so you can start out at a lower cost thing. You could have a retirement vehicle for your employees, and you know, like you could really start showing people about how, hey, you start saving in this. This is how you create your future. This is how you retire someday. This is how you fund a retirement. And you start educating people on this, and it's a really, really great tool. You know, when I spoke to some other business owners that had things like this, or I believe like IRAs in their company, and they said nobody used them. Well, in our company, you don't get to pick. You're in until you opt out, because I want people to get in that thing and show them how this thing works. And then if they don't want to do it, whatever. But I'm really pushing people towards that. So next, you can add on a match, and that is they put in a certain percent and the company matches it. So this is when it's a lot easier to really start getting people to want to invest or want to go with a 401k, because the company is going to give X amount percent. if you put in your percent. So they are virtually getting free money. Now you might wonder, it's like, hey, if I start this off and we do this after 90 days, well, what if they leave in a year? Do they get all that money? What are the stipulations? You can choose whatever vesting period you want. There's so much you can change about these plans. But I would say doing some kind of company match as soon as you can is a big deal. We match 3% if you put in X percent. I can't remember what it is. You either put in 4 or 6%, something like that. And then you're able to get that company match. So that's super, super exciting, and another vehicle where you say, hey, why would you not take the 3.5% of the company's money so you can grow your retirement even faster? This is all really, really good stuff where you're doing your best to build for your employees. Now, another thing that I took on, one of the reasons I don't like 401ks is a lot of them are notoriously expensive. And with that being said, when I set this plan up, there was a lot of things I wanted, and it's still not exactly where I want it to be, because I want it to be invested in some, I want some different investment opportunities for the employees. So as they learn about investing, maybe they can tweak this in a little specific way. I'm going way off the rocker talking about that. I'm digging deep. But what I was really going to get into, what was I really going to get into? What was I really going to get into? Sounds like there's a bird out there. Oh, that's it. But so 401ks are typically like really potentially expensive because there's management fees. Then there's management fees in mutual funds, and there's all this So I made sure that as a company, we paid for as much of the fees, as much of the cost of this plan as possible, so the employee pays for as little as possible. These are all tweaks you can make to consistently make it better for your employees. Whether the employees know that we did that or not, I don't really care. I did that because I want it to be the best for them. They're gonna have less amount of money to put in than maybe someone with super, super high earnings. Maybe they'll be there someday. I don't know what the spread's gonna be, but if I looked at it like a lot of people are getting started with this 401k are probably gonna be only 90 days in, and they're gonna be at the beginning of their earning journey, and I didn't want them to get hit with any excessive fees, because some companies pass all the fees on to their employees, make them eat all of that, and have a plan. So that's a lot of different things to think about. There's a million different other benefits that you could come up with and do. That's been the path of our company. That's been the structure we've set up, and really how we've tried to create benefits, and we have created benefits for our employees. There's things outside of this stuff's gonna blow your mind away, and you're gonna be like, wow, that's weird stuff. But the other things you can get into is you can start getting into fun things. What I listed was your normal things. The fun things we get into is like in Illinois, every month we have a giveaway of $150 for dinner. It's ideally so a couple who might not get to spend that much money on a nice dinner in Springfield, which is a pretty decent dinner in Springfield, can go out and spend that. So there's a drawing for that if your points are above a certain amount. Once a year we give a trip giveaway, which is it was set up to try to be like a couple go to Vegas, or a couple go here, they go there for a weekend. So we purchase the flights. We basically put like $1,500 or $2,000 towards them having a weekend. And there's just different things like that we always keep piling up and adding and changing, boot allowances or this or that. The list goes on and on and on, and you just keep building these things. And really it's like as you come up with an idea, oh, I said boot allowance. This company does boot allowance. Oh, hey, I'll come up with a boot allowance, and then I'll structure that a certain way. And you just keep kind of throwing mud at the wall, and you build more and more and more benefits. And some people will see a lot of benefit in those benefits, and some people won't. And it's your job to show people what you offer, and to show up to the plate and tell people why you're the best fucking company to work for. And that's my goal. I don't want to compete with other companies. I just want their employees to come here and realize, why would I ever work there? So if that's what you want in your company, leave it in the comments below. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and I cannot wait to shoot another video and talk to you soon.